How many of you have got between 20 and 25? Please raise your hands. That's very good. I appreciate all those students. And now we'll move on to the Hindu Editorial Analysis. Shall we? Fine. It's already, we are behind the schedule. It's 3:05. So it is all about, first I'll tell about the editorial in a nutshell. First I'll read out the headline. In his own cause. Here cause represents in his own case. It talks about case on complaint against Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi. The paradox here, this article is all about, and here again you see the headline, the Chief Justice of India shows how not to deal with a sexual harassment complaint. How not to deal with. So here the editorial talks about, it is all about allegations against the Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, and allegation sexual harassment. And the unfortunate thing, he, based on the allegations, he formed a committee or bench, and he is the head of that bench, and he appointed 2 judges and not senior most judges. Earlier what happened when Deepak Mishra, I suppose when he was a Chief Justice, 4 judges had a press conference. This man was one of them. They complained, they went against the Chief Justice, Deepak Mishra I suppose. They said he is not following the rules and regulations, and he is not considering the senior judges. He has been allotting the cases to the junior judges. That is not a fair thing. And usually what happens in our country, the Chief Justice of India, we use one expression, we call it, he is the master of roster. Master of roster means he can decide the cases, which case to be allotted to which judge. Cases related to environment, this judge deals with. Cases related to individuals, this judge deals with. He has the right to decide which judge, which case. And that is, then we use the expression master of the roster. And when he was the master of the roster, these guys were not happy, these judges were not happy. They had a press conference for the first time in the history of independent India. And today he has gone against his own stand. He appointed judges, not senior judges, junior judges. One controversial step, another controversial step. Now imagine I have been accused of something, then I form a committee, I am the head of the committee. Can it be justified? It is the most ridiculous thing, most ridiculous. Second, and I am not the judge, let us say I am not the head of the committee, still I appoint 3 persons who are very close to me as the committee members. Can it be justified? Definitely not. The case is all about these dimensions. Now here, in his own case, this is only part of the statement. There is a popular saying, no one should be a judge in his own case. What is the complete sentence? No one should be a judge in his own case or cause, because it goes against the principle of natural justice. What is the principle of natural justice? The person who has been accused cannot have a say in the hearing or in the trial. That is not, it cannot be justified. So this case is all about going against the natural principle of natural justice. The Chief Justice of India shows how not to deal with. So all negative side. Now we'll see the first sentence. The manner in which the Supreme Court responded on the judicial side to allegations. Write the meaning of the word allegations. Already I've got this word many a time. A claim that someone has done something illegal or wrong. Allegation, a claim that someone has done something illegal or something wrong. What is the other word for this? Accusation. Also write the word accusation. The manner in which the Supreme Court responded on the judicial side to allegations of sexual harassment made by a former employee against the Chief Justice of India is a textbook example, means a typical example of how not to deal with such a complaint. That means they messed up the whole thing. They did not handle the case properly. How not to deal. An issue that squarely fell, underline the word squarely. Squarely means directly. What is the meaning? Directly, without deviating to one side. Squarely fell within the domain. Domain means what? Sphere or realm or province or area. But better words, always focus on the better words. Realm means field, area, sphere, province. That has a political connotation, province. But generally, domain means what? Your field. What is your domain? Which domain are you good at? Means your sphere of activity. An issue that squarely fell within the domain of an internal process was taken up by a special bench constituted by Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, comprising himself, that is the most ridiculous thing, Justice Arun Mishra and Justice Sanjeev Khanna. Underline the word comprising, I think already underlined, consist of, be made of. Consist of, be made of. A lady has accused the Chief Justice, so then he constituted a bench which comprised himself and two more judges, and these two judges are not senior judges, junior judges. Shall I continue? On a mention by the Solicitor General, it was listed as a reference matter of great public importance touching upon the independence of the judiciary. So they considered that something very important, and it touches the independence of the judiciary. That is ridiculous again. One allegation against one person, it doesn't touch the independence of judiciary, nowhere related. The decision to hold an open court hearing is questionable. Write the meaning of questionable. Questionable means what? Controversial, doubtful. Better word, dubious. Dubious means doubtful. But in this context, controversial, also debatable. Questionable means debatable, right or wrong, and controversial. The decision to hold an open court hearing is questionable. A complaint of this nature requires an institutional response on the administrative side. Generally, when a judge gets accused, they have two options. One is open hearing regarding the case. The other one, institutional response, something like internal. So the writer says they should have gone for the internal process, and instead of that, they've gone for listening and open kind of a thing. There is an internal process. Then he talks about the administrative side. One is the judicial side, the other is the administrative side. What is the administrative side? There is an internal process to initiate an inquiry mandated by the law regarding sexual harassment at the workplace. So what is the meaning of the word mandated? Authorize, require something to be done, mandatory, something like compulsory, mandatory, requirement, compulsory requirement. So there is an internal process to initiate an inquiry mandated by the law regarding sexual harassment at the workplace. The Supreme Court itself has an internal subcommittee under its gender sensitization and sexual harassment of women at Supreme Court Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Guidelines 2015. This talks about the internal procedure and what is the committee, all that. Write the meaning of the word redressal. A remedy or compensation for a wrong or a grievance, for a wrongdoing or for a grievance. Compensate or a remedy, find a solution. Have you written? There is a separate in-house procedure to deal with complaints against judges, under which their judicial peers, that's a very good word, please write, peers. There are two different meanings. One meaning, peer through something, peer at something, to look carefully or with difficulty. That goes with everyday English. But in this context, a person of the same age or social position, a person of the same age or social position, same kind. And write one expression. Usually people pick up bad habits because of this. Please write. Peer pressure. Because of peer pressure, they pick up bad habits. Friends force, they can't say no. So judicial peers and not outsiders will examine them. So the other way. It is not known if the complaint will be probed under an internal process, but it is clear that the Chief Justice of India ought not to have presided over. This is grammatically speaking very important. Ought not. Ought to means what? It is an obligation. One thing, not exactly obligation, it is like an advice or suggestion. In the past, we would use ought to, but now we don't use it. It has become outdated. We use the helping verb should. Should, informal English, ought to, formal English. They express advise or suggest someone. Advise or suggest. Ought not to have presided over the special bench that took up the matter that concerned himself. Concerned himself means what? Related to the Chief Justice of India. Concerned, please write involved in something. One meaning. It has two different meanings. One meaning is what? Involved in something in this context. Then second meaning, worried. A concerned person means what? Worried person. The onslaught on the complaint's credibility. Write the meaning of the word onslaught. That's a very good word. A fierce or destructive attack. Onslaught. A fierce or destructive attack. Usually it goes with politics. The opposition party members attack the Prime Minister. We use onslaught. The onslaught on the complaint's credibility. Credibility means what? Trustworthiness or reliability. Credible is different, creditable is different. That we'll see later. Trustworthiness or reliability. Complainant's credibility and the references made to her alleged criminal record when she was not a party to the proceedings are deplorable. The one who complained, she was not party, means she was not involved in the proceedings. And that is not acceptable. They have used a better word, deplorable. Deplorable means what? Disgraceful and shameful. When she was not a party to the proceedings, you cannot accuse her, you cannot use negative statements about her. That is disgraceful or shameful. Justice Gogoi was one of the 4 judges who spoke out against the manner in which his predecessor means what? A person who had a job before someone else. Predecessor. A person who had a job before someone else. As Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra managed the roster. Remember I said manage or master of the roster. And roster, literal meaning, please write the literal meaning. A list of people's names and sometimes their work schedules. A list of people's names and their work schedules. But in this context, master of roster means he can decide how to allot the cases, whom to allot the cases. A list of people's names and sometimes their work schedules. It is ironical that as one who was aggrieved that senior-most judges were kept out of the benches handling major cases, he went on to form a bench that included himself, but not the 2 senior-most judges after him. So this is also controversial. What is controversial? In the past, he criticized Deepak Mishra, saying that he did not give due respect to the senior-most judges when it comes to important cases. In this case, he has done the same thing. That's what it means. Write the meaning of the word ironical. We have got recently. Ironical means what? Paradoxical, odd, weird, something that is contradictory. Also write the word contradictory. You say something is not good, you do the same thing, then we use the expression ironical or paradoxical. And write the meaning of the word aggrieved. Aggrieved means disgruntled, resentful, indignant. Means what? You have a feeling that you haven't been treated fairly. You have a feeling that you have been treated unfairly. Hope you are able to write the meanings. These are all very important words. Please don't ignore. Write the meanings. Disgruntled, resentful, indignant means you have a feeling you haven't been treated properly or fairly. And he has done the same thing. Nor was there a woman judge on the bench. This is grammatical. That's why it is in green color. What is important here in this expression? Tell me. Underline the word nor. When we start a sentence with a negative expression, the sentence should be in affirmative form or interrogative form. Interrogative. Then you underline, was there a woman judge? That is interrogative. That you have to notice. Chief Justice of India, Gogoi's anguish. That's also an important word. Anguish means what? Severe mental or physical pain or suffering. Anguish, severe mental or physical pain or suffering. So his anguish is understandable if indeed the complaint is baseless and false, as he contended from the bench. Contend means what? Argue, assert, claim. Contended. That's also an important word. Argue, assert, claim. Have you written? Argue, assert, claim. But then the Court Secretary General has sent a denial. Denial you've got many a time. Means what? Contradiction. Say no. Simple English. Say no. Refuse. But here better expressions. Contradiction. Rebuttal. Refutation. These are better words. Rebuttal. Refutation. Refute. To deny. To contradict. To oppose. So, to the online news organizations that carried details of the complaint. The complainant, a former junior court assistant, had made her charge in the form of an affidavit. Affidavit means what? Testimony. You got this word the other day. Testimony, statement, declaration. Affidavit. Better word is the best word, testimony. Evidence. It also means evidence. So, in the form of an affidavit, supported by purported evidence, that is not the regular word, important word, please write the meaning. Purported, actually, you make a statement which looks true, but it is not true. And write another meaning of that, alleged, alleged. Purported means what? Alleged. And sent it to 22 judges of the court. It referred to likely witnesses to the alleged sexual harassment and victimization. Write the meaning of victimization. To treat someone in an intentionally unfair way. You don't treat properly, you do it intentionally, then victimize. Victimization takes place at the workplace. It's a regular thing. Some people get victimized. To treat someone in an intentionally unfair way. This is a serious matter that requires careful processing. It is possible even now to send the complaint to an independent committee. That's what they should have done. They should have sent it to an independent committee, internal procedure. That is the only reasonable and fair means of establishing the innocence the Chief Justice of India has asserted. There's also a very good word. Assert means what? State a fact or belief confidently and forcefully. State a fact or belief confidently and forcefully. Please try to write quickly. We are running out of time. And pronouncements, you have got this word as well. Pronounce means what? A formal announcement or declaration. Pronouncement, a formal announcement or declaration. Pronouncements and protestations from the bench to a captive audience of acquiescent. First you underline the word captive. Captive means someone, to keep someone in a prison. Please write captive. To put someone in jail. Captive prisoner, a prisoner who is in a jail. And captive animals, animals not in the forest, animals in the cages, captive animals. Captive audience means what? That is rather funny. Captive audience, imagine you are here. My lecture is not interesting, it's rather boring. And obviously when it is boring, what do you want to do? You want to leave the room, but you cannot leave the room. You have no choice. You are forced to listen to me. Then what do we say? Then what do I say? I'm not worried about the students leaving the room. What is the reason? They are my captive audience. Do you understand? So please write, captive audience means you are forced to listen to someone. Forced to listen to someone. Or you have no choice. You cannot leave. You have to listen. Of acquiescent, law officers. That's a difficult word. Acquiescent means complying, willing, obliging, or cooperative. Complying, willing, obliging, cooperative. Is that the last one? Now, we'll do it fast. We don't have a lot of time. 5 minutes we have. Please respond, those who know the answer. Others listen and write the answer. First we'll see match the word to its meaning. Redressal means what? A remedy for a wrong or grievance. Because of lack of space, I had to cut down the meaning, but already have listened to me. A remedy or compensation for a wrong or a grievance. Peer, P-E-E-R, a person of the same age or same position. Peer pressure, I give the combination, peer pressure. Onslaught, why? A fierce or destructive attack. Fierce or destructive attack. Acquiescent, complying and cooperative. Complying, willing, cooperative, obliging, all these. Aggrieved. Aggrieved means what? Alleged. No. Whole. Purported means alleged. Where is this aggrieved? Please write resentful, indignant, aggrieved. Feeling that you have been treated unfairly. Resentful, indignant. Anguish. Where is it? Severe mental or physical pain. Physical or mental. And purported, alleged. This is rather difficult. We'll do it now, but after the session, spend some time. Justice Gogoi was one of the 4 judges who spoke out against the manner in which his what? Predecessor won. As Chief Justice of India, Deepak Mishra, managed the roster. It is what? It is ironical that as one who was aggrieved that senior most judges were kept out of benches handling major cases, he went on to form a bench that included himself but not the 2 senior most judges after him. And what is it? Nor was there a woman judge on the bench. Chief Justice of India Gogoi's anguish is understandable if indeed the complaint is baseless and false, as he what? Contended from the bench. You got all the 7? Right. Now here word forms, please write the word forms. Which part of speech is this? It's a verb. Is it a regular verb or an irregular verb? A regular. What are the 3 forms? Allege, alleged, alleged. And what is the noun form of this? Please write allegation. Allegation. And what is the adverb? Allegedly. Adverb form. And what is the related word? Accusation. Then question. You all know the word, but in the passage, what is the word you have seen? Questionable means what? Controversial, debatable. And one more word I wanted you to learn. Please write. Careful with spelling. Questionnaire. Questionnaire. N-N-A-I-R-E. Questionnaire. You conduct a survey, then what do you go with? You go with a questionnaire. A lot of questions related to a particular product or a service. What is good, what is bad. Irony. That is what? First you write the word iron. Iron you all know. Singular, the metal. But write the plural form. Irons, many of you may not be knowing the meaning, means chains, shackled. If there's a hardcore criminal, usually what they use, these are known as what? Handcuffs. In Telugu, what do you say? Handcuffs. But some hardcore criminals, you see the chains all over, arms and legs. Then we use the expression irons means what? Chains. It goes with hardcore criminals. Then you write ironical. Ironical, which part of speech is it? Adjective. Ironical means what? Paradoxical. And ironically, which part of speech? Write the next form. Adverb, ironically. Assert. Which part of speech is it here based on the context? Verb. It's a regular verb. And what are the forms? Assert, asserted, asserted. And related word, please write. This is very important. All of you, please be attentive. I have only 5 minutes. So assertive. Assertive means what? Which part of speech? Assertive employee. What's that? Sudhi sir has already come. We are running out of time. Last time also I could not complete. Today we still have phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions, confusing words, and word map. Do remember, we'll continue. We'll squeeze in some time. And don't forget to bring the